Why would I do that? Why would I sign away my freedom to be with someone that's gonna give me attitude to make me sleep on the couch? What's
Hey,
up,
y'all?
Welcome back to the channel.
Welcome back.
So it's the Brawley story. Today we got an interesting topic on why millennials are not getting married. Five reasons.
Why millennials are saying,
Nope.
I'm good.
We're not interested.
I'm straight.
So we had an interesting stat that we were kind of pouring over just a second ago. What was that?
Did y'all know that for the first time, I think in history, or I know they've at least been tracking since like 1970s, that there are more single people than married people in the U.S.
Adults.
That over half of the adults in the United States are unmarried. And that this is new. This is new for us.
It is.
So the millennial generation, being such a large generation, it has been changing things.
Kind of teetering on that. They're not too sure about marriage and getting married. So
We're gonna jump in and talk about why that is.
yeah, five
today.
reasons. And not saying this is not comprehensive, but this is 5 reasons that we've observed. We're definitely interested to hear what your thoughts are. If there's any other reasons that you think millennials aren't getting married or whatever,
So
definitely comment
below. Give us your thoughts and whatever points that we have missed in these 5 reasons, add your reason down below.
Absolutely. We
Add
want
to
to
this
talk about this.
conversation.
But first things first, if you haven't already, make sure that you like, subscribe,
Mm-hmm.
and hit the bell notification icon so that you can get more videos like this from us and you never miss a beat. So,
And when you subscribe, make sure you leave us a comment saying, I subscribed down below, and we will gladly comment back with you and thank you for joining the family.
and we're also doing something new this week. If you subscribed and you write I subscribed, we are going to be shouting out one new subscriber every week, and we're going to shout out your social media handle. So definitely leave that in the comment as well.
The first subscriber that we are shouting out today is Danielle Fields.
Appreciate you, Danielle.
Thank you, Danielle, for subscribing and for being an active part of the family, always leaving us a comment. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Reason number 1, millennials are not getting married. Our parents got divorced.
Not our parents,
Not our parents.
but most parents in America. It's what, like over half?
Like 50 to 51% of Americans.
Of marriages are not lasting.
Yep.
So imagine this whole concept of this beautiful thing called marriage, you're happily ever after, and all the generations before us seeing that when you marry someone, that is final. And then our generation growing up and seeing that you go to 2 Thanksgivings and you
And
have
it ain't
2
always,
different
it wasn't always
households.
beautiful when they were together, right? I mean,
Right.
we've witnessed some bad marriages. Some of the millennials, we witnessed bad marriages. Some millennials are like, I'm glad my parents got divorced.
Yeah.
You know? And some of us are hurt by it. The bottom line is we're not in a rush to deal with that again.
Yeah. So they're feeling like if marriage is not really forever or it's not a good situation,
Or it's not for everyone.
yeah, then they're feeling like, I'm good. I can date and keep enjoying my freedom and I can move on to the next one. I'm ready.
We ourselves are millennials and we have conversations with different people and we hear it and it's like, look, my mom was never married, or my parents, got divorced, or everyone in my family is divorced and all men are cheaters or whatever,
And some kids honestly feel traumatized
They
by
do.
all of the drama and the heartbreak and the tears that they observe growing up. So if in your household there was so much turmoil and it was all coming from the marriage, from mom and dad at odds with each other, it can put such a it has put such a negative taste
It has.
in millennials' mouths for this thing called marriage.
Yeah, and I heard a phrase, it was a good line, I have no clue where it came from, but basically that the failures of the parents become the limitations of the children,
That's
so
good.
we don't want
That's
that.
deep, baby. Say it again.
So corny, man.
I'm trying to egg you on here.
The failures of the parents become the limitations of their children. So, at the end of the day, because we don't see our parents or the generation above us succeeding in marriage, we don't feel like we'll succeed in marriage, or it's maybe not something worth pursuing. But and we'll go ahead and give you a sneak peek right now. We have another video that we're dropping right after this one, where we're going to be discussing 12 reasons why you should get married.
And this is interesting stuff.
Interesting benefits of why you should get married.
Many things you've never heard before.
Yeah.
Very practical.
Very practical, not all out there and mystical. It is actually really interesting.
Mystical.
And even a lot of it is statistically proven. So that's really, really interesting why you should get married. But I guess
we've done some research on it.
The big thing with regards to the fear of divorce is that, just because you've seen and witnessed so much divorce and maybe you're afraid of divorce, that doesn't have to be your story. You don't have to get divorced.
Yeah.
You can have a happy marriage. We've grown up around a lot of happy marriages, so that helped frame our mindset on it. That doesn't have to be your story. That definitely does not.
Right. And too often people allow the experiences of other people to frame their expectations for their own future and frame their desires and their goals. So it's very important to understand that someone else's experience is just that, their experience.
That's right.
And it doesn't have to be yours.
Yeah.
Number 2 is lack of commitment. This is a culture that has been cultivated of a lack of commitment among the millennial generation. So many of us like to job hop.
Yeah.
We're happy here. It's a good job. I spend a year or two and then I'm on to the next. I'm upgrading. I'm leveling up on you.
Yeah.
So this lack of commitment to groups, you do something that's fun, that's interesting, that's enjoyable, and then instead of staying there for 10 years, 20 years, the rest of your life, you're on to the next. Well, that was good. That was cool. But now I have different aspirations. I have different interests. So it's not that we just stick with a good thing. We're always on to the next.
We're always on to the next. We go to one church for, 6 months, and then we got a church hop. We got to the next church and get somebody what they got. Oh, they hot right now. So we're not really used to committing, and it's not just our fault. Number one, there's a fallacy that new is always better. And that's not always better. Sometimes it can be worse. And sometimes sticking to something can be worth it. I feel you. We're millennials too, so we don't love sticking at one job. Well, my wife has been at one job since she graduated college. But I've been at several jobs. I don't like just staying at one place forever. We get the whole idea of that. But when it comes to a partner, it's valuable to commit. It is absolutely valuable to commit, and we just have to learn to commit. And realize that culture doesn't have to affect us in our family lives and in our relationships, our marriages, or who we're dating rather, since we're not getting married. It doesn't have to affect that. We can actually commit. It's absolutely paramount.
The detriment of that aversion to commitment in families is much greater than jobs or groups or any other thing that we could be involved in.
Yeah, it is. It is. We have an individualistic American perspective, a priority on the individual. And I understand, it's cool to be an individual. It's cool to think about and take care of yourself. That's a cultural thing that's focused more heavily here in the Western side of the world versus, some of the Eastern cultures have more of a focus on the group. And neither is right or wrong, but the important thing is it can be unhealthy or damaging to how we relate with the opposite sex when we think only about me. I only think about me and what's good for me, what's good, I don't want to deal with this no more. I'm not happy anymore.
Always looking out for number one.
Yeah.
It's always about what you have to say. Everyone just wants to be heard, wants things to be a specific way. And if it's not the way I want it, I'm going to destroy you on social media. It's all about me.
It's all about me.
All about building my business and promoting my brand.
And how can you serve me? How can you make my life better and easier and happy? And no one is responsible for your happiness but yourself. I mean, you're the only person responsible for your happiness. I'm
right.
responsible for staying happy in this marriage, and she's responsible for staying happy in hers, and in ours as well.
That's right.
So I can't help her with that. That's not my job.
The truth is that instead of looking for another person to make us happy, then we need to be focused on how we can serve one another, and we will ultimately be happier seeking to serve instead of seeking to be served. Because when we're always seeking to be served, we're often disappointed. We have very high expectations for what other people are supposed to give us. And when they do not meet all of these unspoken expectations we have in our minds, then we become disgruntled, disappointed, frustrated. So when we actually focus on being two happy people coming together
and just sharing your happiness.
That's how you have a happy marriage, is two happy people coming together to serve one another.
That's right. That's right. And sometimes you do have to be willing to sacrifice, for me, a little bit for the group, for our family.
Yeah.
And it works out better that way. It works out for the good of everyone. You, your kids, your spouse. It's fantastic. It really works out.
And if your mentality is others focused, then you're not so focused on and bothered by every little detail that's not your preference. So when you don't do this particular thing for me, I'm not going to fly off the handle, or, oh, you don't love me, or, oh, I'm not happy because I'm not focused on all these things about me, but I'm focused on, did I make him smile this morning? Did I make you smile this morning?
You did make me smile this morning. You did. Yes.
I know I did.
I can't discuss on YouTube.
We might need to edit that out. But the point is that when we seek to serve and get beyond this me culture, this individualistic ideology, then we're ultimately happier.
We are.
We can relax a little. A little. It's really not that deep.
Absolutely.
Number 4 is prioritizing career over family. The priority is building my empire first, and then later I might think about finding someone. When we put family on the back burner and seek everything else first, it can leave us in a place of frustration and regret on the back end. But right now, let's just focus on why it is that we do this. I think that some people saw our parents sacrificing so much. Women seeing their moms sacrificing certain career opportunities for their families, and then they grow up saying, that's not going to be me. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to build my career, build my business, and then I'll think about, I'm going to focus on that first, is what we say. And then I'll think about sharing that with someone else later. Versus our parents getting married young, and then they decided they were going to build their wealth together. It's a difference in focus and priority as far as which one comes first. And it definitely makes life look different. But when we do get married older, which is what millennials who are getting married, a lot of them are getting married older, there definitely is, there's a few more issues as far as people being stuck in their own way.
Yeah, you can be,
after time.
You can be firm and immovable when you've been doing life your own way. And what's ironic too, and we'll get into this in some of the reasons for getting married in our other video, is that's a bit of a fallacy too, that I can build my empire first, that I can build it better and stronger by myself. That's a bit of a fallacy, and we'll go over that.
We have evidence that that's actually not beneficial.
Yeah, that's not the case. So, definitely going to want to check that out. But, it's interesting. We think that it's just better to do things our own way and to prioritize our own career, and it's all about me, and I want to build this. And it's not our fault as millennials. We're getting hit with so much propaganda since the time we were children. Get your education first. Nothing wrong with getting your education and getting it first. We're were educated before we even met each other. But it's important to get your education. It's absolutely important to start on a good career path and to have goals and dreams. But it can be so much more rewarding and endurable when you have a partner to do those things with. When you have a partner to go through those things with, to dream about those things together, to work together, to encourage one another. So, yeah, I think it's not our fault that we put career first and putting our tasks first. We were told to do that.
That's true.
We were told to do that by our parents and by all the adults in generations prior. They kept telling you, focus on your school, focus on your career, don't worry about getting no woman, worry about getting no man. And there's a time for that, and then there's a time that you should go ahead and get you a family.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and especially as millennial women, then everyone is like, don't be thinking about no boys. You need to focus on your school, focus on your career, and they're telling you to put family on the back burner. And the truth is that when we get to this point where we've built so much, then sometimes even it becomes harder to find a mate that sometimes can keep up with you. You don't build so much, you can't find nobody to keep up with you.
That's right.
But what should our standards be?
Yeah. Okay. Our last and final reason why millennials are not getting married is because of negative marriage imagery in the media. We're getting awful images in the media.
Rolling across from each other in the bed. I sleep on this side.
Get
you
away
sleep
from
on
me.
that side.
You in the doghouse tonight. You better get your butt on the couch. You know, they ain't never having sex with each other. That's weird. Why, you're married, but you know, all the single people on the TV look like they're getting all the sex.
Yeah, nitpicking and nagging each other.
Oh, yeah.
All you talk about, you sit down with your coffee and all you talk about is chores that need to be done. And
the wife looks awful. She got rollers in her head and she looks sloppy in her robe. And
do I walk around looking like that?
No, just kidding. No, you look good. You look good, baby. That's why I'm married. You look good. Yeah, I couldn't have done it if you didn't look good. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't look appealing. I don't blame people, especially in a broken home, marriage wasn't working out, and then you see the images of marriage on television. It's like, oh, it ain't working out for them too. It's not working out for everybody. Why would I do that? Why would I sign away my freedom to be with someone that's gonna give me attitude and make me sleep on the couch? Why would I do that?
Right.
And she ain't gonna be looking good. Yeah. And then on television they always say, I haven't had sex in months, and then it's the single guy that's getting sex every day on TV, which we know is also not statistically true. But it certainly looks that way. It looks that way on TV.
So we want to hear you guys' comments. What are some additional reasons that millennials are choosing not to get married or choosing to get married later on? And make sure that you check out our next video, part 2 to this millennial marriage discussion. And this is the 12 reasons why millennials should get married. It's gonna be some pretty mind-blowing stuff. So you do not want to miss that video. You definitely check that one out. We're using some statistics and some things that we were able to do a little digging on. So it's going to be interesting. You'll really enjoy that video. If you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and we will see you next time. Peace.